Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that's pretty important, at least if you're in the 3D printing community and if you use BambuLab printers like I do. On the 16th of January, BambuLab announced that they are releasing a firmware update which introduces a new authorization control system. Now, this has the potential to really change the way that these printers function. And I want to take a look at what this means to the users out there. But before we get into that, or after you see everything that I present here, I'd love to know what you think. Is this just a necessary security update, or are they really, closing in that walled garden and trying to gain more and more control over the printer that you purchased? So let's take a look at what they announced. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Again, on the 16th, new firmware. As part of our ongoing commitment to enhance the overall security of our products, we are introducing an authorization and authentication protection mechanism for the connection and control of BambuLab 3D printers. This change is mitigating any risk of remote hacks or printer exposure issues that have happened in the past, and also lower the risk of abnormal traffic attacks. So it says on the 17th that new firmware update for the X1 series of 3D printer and a new version of Bambu Studio. And here are the critical operations that require authorization: binding or unbinding the printer, initiating remote video access, performing firmware upgrades, initiating a print job via LAN or cloud mode, so LAN as well, controlling motion systems, temperature, fans, AMS settings, calibrations, etc. Things that don't require authorization: sending status information, starting a print job using SD cards, or general operations outside the listed authorization controls. Network plugin for third-party slicer. Network plugin API for third-party slicing tools, e.g. Orca Slicer, which I know many people out there use. It's not going to impact me. I don't really use Orca Slicer. I do actually use Bambu Studio for most of my printing needs, but I do know there's some features, and I have used Orca Slicer in the past. Some of the calibration features are not present in the Bambu Studio, so that is going to impact a number of people out there. Based on open source studio development, will no longer be able to utilize the studio's network plugin API for authorization control. For these users, Bambu Connect client software will act as a replacement. The new software removes slicing function while enabling remote control and print initiation. Let's see as we move on here. So for Orca Slicer users, you will have to save your 3MF file from Orca Slicer, and then you're going to have to open it with Bambu Connect, and then that will send the files over to your printer. So you have to use their software now to even print from Orca Slicer. So although there's a workaround, that it's an extra step, and that's not great. Information for users of third-party software or hardware. To control your X-Series printer using third-party software, hardware, accessories, it is recommended you keep your printer on the older firmware version without authorization features. Upgrading the firmware will prevent third-party software or hardware from controlling your printer. Future implications. All future BambuLab printer models will integrate authorization control technology as standard to ensure the highest levels of user security and printer protection moving forward. We acknowledge that these changes may introduce additional effort and workload. However, our joint efforts and cooperation, we believe we can improve the security, quality, and user experience of BambuLab's 3D printing products and services. So that's what BambuLab has to say about all this. And of course, they make it sound like, hey, we have to do this. It's a security update. It's just, we're taking care of you. We're watching out for you. Like I said, I'm on the fence about this. I think I'll probably be able to survive, although I do use a Panda Touch on my P1S, and that will probably break the functionality. BQ or Big Tree Tech is usually pretty good about, trying to stay up with changes that are made, but it does, it comes at a cost, and sometimes, the functionality is lost. I like my Panda Touch. I use it all the time, and I would hate to lose that. Now, at one point, Bambu seemed to say that, oh, don't worry about it, the sky's not falling, we're working with, developers like the folks that make Orca Slicer, and it's all going to get worked out, and we'll all be able to play together. Well, just a security update. And then the gentleman who makes Orca Slicer says, hey, talk to BambuLab. They said, nope, sorry, not going to work, no deal. I want to thank real quick the Rossman group. Mr. Rossman has a YouTube channel. I started looking at some of this stuff on here, and he's got this great wiki. You can see the URL up here, wiki.rossmangroup.com, and then he's got one here on the BambuLabs if you really want to dive deeper. One of the main things that is really concerning people, and they brought this up, is here is a screenshot from the terms of service from Bambu. You can see the highlighted section here. It says, due to the importance of these updates, your product may block new print job before the update is installed. So at one side of the mouth, Bambu is saying, hey, don't worry about it. If you really count on these features, you can always, just stay on an older firmware version and continue business as usual. You may lose out on some, updates in the future, but your future is under your control. Well, according to this, that may not be the case. If they can say, hey, this printer doesn't have the latest firmware, we're not going to let you send any jobs to it via cloud or LAN. Now your only recourse is to use, foot traffic to take a file to your SD card. I love the ability to just send a file to either of my printers and they start printing. I don't want to lose that functionality, but I don't want to be locked into something that may not be working well for me. So that's what we got. Again, tell me what you think. Like I said, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I buy all sorts of electronic equipment. If the router that I spent $300 on, for my Wi-Fi, if Netgear or Orbi, if all of a sudden that thing started freaking out because somebody was able to hack into it and it's now being used to send DDoS attacks all over the world, and my performance suffered, I'd be like, hey, Netgear, how about you update the firmware on this device and make sure that I can use what I paid for? I would want them to do that. So again, is this Bambu just being security conscious and taking care of things, or is there something else afoot here to where we're going to lose control of the piece of equipment that we paid for? So I would appreciate your thoughts on the matter. As always, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please take a moment to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the little notification bell so you know when I drop new content. As always, I want to continue to spend quality time with all of my subscribers, and let's just keep on learning, burning, engraving, printing, hopefully, together. Take care, everyone.